All right, what is going on, everybody? Also glorious Mace Fowler here on Unfiltered, where we are continuing our discussion on how to kill GameStop. Now, obviously, we can't be talking about how to murder entire corporate entities all the time, so let's talk about how to improve them. Now, GameStop is essentially, like I said before, going the way of the dinosaur. And why is that? Because we are moving towards a more digital landscape when it comes to the distribution of video games. And as before, it's not to say that physical media is going to completely go away. Um, we will see the landscape change quite a bit in the coming years. But what I really want to press on is in a landscape where we are moving towards a direction of, oh, we're going to, you know, go strictly digital. How do we fill in the gaps? How do we make revenue, right? So the first thing I want to preface with this whole thing is how does GameStop make money, right? Well, they're like any other store. They're a retail store where they buy goods wholesale and then they sell them for a markup for a profit, and that margin is usually about 10%, right? And you also have to account in your employees, whether or not you have to have insurance for the employees, insurance for the building, maintenance costs, all that, basically all your overhead, right? So you have to hit certain sales quotas. So there's a whole circle of life thing that they had not too long ago that we heard about. It makes perfect sense to have something like that in. Now the problem was coming. Quota. There's nothing wrong with a quota. I mean, quotas. I mean, if it wasn't for a quota and trying to reach a certain goal, then companies wouldn't be able to stay afloat because they need to operate in a way that is profitable. If they're not profitable or they're literally just plateauing, making their money back, there's literally no point, right? So that's how GameStop operates. GameStop obviously operates for profit. Now the problem that the consumers have is the practices, is the way that it goes about. Where you'll have like the Watch Dogs 2, for example, where the brand new game was cheaper than buying a used copy. Now I've seen that a lot too, where I've gone in, purchased a new copy for cheaper than a used copy, but they want to push the used copy. Now why is that? Why would GameStop, if the brand new game is being sold cheaper, and then you would sell the used copy for more? Obviously, you're going to be making more money that way. And you're operating at a loss if you originally bought that new game at its wholesale price, and now the MSRP of it is the fair market value of that brand new game is substantially lower than what you initially paid for it. You're going to want to recoup the money somehow. You technically still have to sell that at that price. So what you do is you encourage people to buy the used copy, or you just flat out have your employees tell people, we don't even have a new copy in, buy the old one. And GameStop makes a killing when they sell a used product. And why is that? Because the profit margins of selling a used product are astronomically higher than when someone buys a new product. If you ever watched the show Pawn Stars or Hardcore Pawn or anything like that, GameStop operates a lot like a pawn shop for video games. And basically what that entails is you buy low, you sell high. And your initial investment is whatever it cost you to obtain the product in the first place. There's a game a new game came out. Someone played it. After a week, they just want to bring it back. They're done with it. They're going to sell it to GameStop for their store credit or cash. So they bring it in. The game still retails at $60, right? You store credit, let's say $30 or $25. Might be less. It's usually less when it comes to GameStop, but let's say that's the area. Let's say $25 cash. So $25 cash if someone does a cash transaction. When GameStop sells that copy of the game that's still relatively new at $55 used, they're recouping $30 in that scenario. So it incentivizes GameStop a lot for people to do this, and it incentivizes them even more for store credit, which is why they offer more for store credit than they do for cash. If you are a frequent shopper of GameStop and you don't need the money for something else, I would recommend going with the store credit, just because from how they operate, you are going to get a better value, especially with a lot of the trade-in deals and stuff that they have. They do incentivize you a lot to come in and shop there. That's the thing that people don't give GameStop credit for. they're a company that actually, when you really look at GameStop, they have a great strategy. They have great devices that are in play. The problem is how they utilize them. They utilize them in such a way that the consumer sees it as corporate greed, and in the corporate world, we just see it as, oh, they're appeasing shareholders. Now, of course, when you have shareholders, you want to make sure that you're as maximum profitable as you can be. But as we discussed last time, over a 5-year trend, or even a year, GameStop has been on the decline. Now, there might be some days where their market share is going up. However, if you look at longevity, they are in a rut. So how do we fix this? How does GameStop come back? How does it increase its stock value? So the way that this is done is with retail stores, buy low, sell high. And like GameStop, it's basically a secondhand marketplace. That's really where they make their meat and potatoes, is through selling used product, right? But they focus on mainly video games, and they also do use cell phones, use tablets, and things like that. GameStop obviously needs to get their head out of their ass. I'm not going to disclose the fact that they're kind of assholes and you probably should take your money somewhere else. Honestly, you really should, just from an ethical, moral standpoint. But from a business standpoint, they're not too bad. They could be doing a lot better with exactly how they utilize the tools that are already in place for them. So what I would recommend for GameStop is broaden the spectrum, right? I love video game stuff, but I'm not always going to go in and buy a video game from GameStop. And that's mainly because I love digital downloads. I love PC games, and GameStop doesn't usually have a lot of physical media when it comes to PC games. They primarily focus on consoles because you can't resell PC games because of the keys. So what GameStop should do is just from my perspective as a consumer, is broaden the spectrum of the stuff that they sell. Obviously, I don't mean just video games and minor electronics like cell phones and stuff. Minor electronic. What they should really do is things like headphones, right? People buy gaming headphones all the time, and then you see them on Craigslist or whatever. And I'll go into another discussion about the secondhand market when it comes to shit like that. But when it comes to GameStop, what they can do is they can incentivize people to come into their store to sell their old gaming peripherals. Now, some gaming peripherals that they resell are, who cares, right? It's just some whatever attachment for a controller or this, that, or the other. Stuff that's probably just going to be sitting on the shelf for a long time. Which for GameStop, that's taking up inventory space. But a used pair of Turtle Beaches that are selling for significantly lower than a brand new pair, fuck it. You'll get a lot of people buying that. Now, in that situation, you come into a lot of hygiene issues, which, okay, so you're wearing the headphones, sweat, all this stuff, right? But honestly, I think that if they would resell used headphones of good quality, obviously they have to do their little inspection and everything and assess the proper value, that I think that would be fantastic. Another thing is that we're moving forward in such a way to where a lot of people are recording YouTube videos and streaming and stuff like that. Why can't GameStop be the one-stop shop for Twitch streamers? Why can't they sell, like they do sell microphones and stuff, but why not an array of microphones? Why not partner with someone and sell like podcasting equipment? Why not sell cheap stuff for green screens and stuff like that? And this is going to move me on to my next thing. GameStop, there's a huge umbrella that GameStop falls under. ThinkGeek is one of them, and that's why you see a lot of products there that are ThinkGeek products, and you have all the Funko Pops stuff. That's another way that they make revenue. It's a little bit better because GameStop, for certain things that GameStop does sell in store, those are all products that are owned by companies under the same umbrella as GameStop. So the profit margins on those products are a little bit higher percentage-wise than what you would normally get for someone like selling a video game. So it's another thing that we've seen is GameStop is doing this thing where they're selling a lot of knick-knack crap that people don't want, but it's cool little things. Like, for example, I picked up Spider-Gwen here for $12.99 new from GameStop. And why did I pick this up? I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm not going to take it out and play with it or anything, but it is a nice little set piece to have up on my desk. And case in point, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is GameStop is selling just cool little crap like that, and that is something that a lot of people are flocking towards. So basically, what I'm saying at the end of the day is GameStop has a lot of avenues to generate more revenue, and they're meat and potatoes by reselling products that they purchase from consumers. That I'm telling you, they just need to broaden the spectrum. Like buy Turtle Beaches, like buy used microphones like this. And the problem is it takes time to test these things, right? So if you're going to buy it, you want to make sure it works before the transaction is completed. But a lot of times when I go into GameStop, there's one or two people working there. On a slow time of day, there's like only one guy in there that's barely paying attention to me. That's the thing. He's either barely paying fucking attention to me or he's fucking constantly asking me if I need anything. And it's like, dude, just let me do my fucking thing, all right? I'm here looking, let me just chill, right? Or it's so busy, but you've only got two fucking people working there, right? And then you got someone going to do a trade with all these fucking games, and it takes a long time, and then that kind of irritates other people, so they end up like leaving and stuff. So obviously, there's a balance that needs to be had. GameStop can't afford to employ 3 or 4 people in a store at a given time, but on the same note, you do need someone that's like, all right, so I'm taking care of the used games over here. You take care of the customers over there, but it's not very, very snappy. And then at the same time, every single time someone's in line at GameStop, they have to give their pitch. They have to sell the stupid card. They have to sell the stupid magazine. They have to ask about pre-orders and all these different things. And then, they want to go into these long, drawn-out conversations about whether or not this game is good or that game is bad or whatever the fuck. Just let me go in and make my transaction and fucking leave. Please. There are so many times where I've gone into GameStop, known exactly what I wanted, picked it up, went to the front, and I was there for like a fucking eternity. But like I said, there are avenues that I wish that GameStop would pursue. And I think that because we're moving towards a digital landscape, instead of GameStop trying to fight against it, it should embrace it. Now the thing is, when it comes to change, the best thing a company can do is to adapt to the change, not fight against it. And GameStop, they're fighting against it. And things like in the digital landscape are getting so much better. And this is why the whole on-demand service for games from Xbox are so fucking fantastic. Because you can download it. It's not like you have to stream it with PlayStation Now or whatever it's called. You can just download it and not have to worry about the cost of streaming and the bandwidth allocation and all that. It's fantastic. And that's going to be bad for GameStop in the long run. Once we see this implemented and put out, a lot of people that are able to, they're going to utilize it once they figure out it's going to be towards their advantage. Now that all really depends on the lineup, right? Anyway, that's doing that thing, and there's my little rambling session for today, talking about how to bring GameStop back from the brink. Now, as always, like I mentioned, once we hit 10,000 subscribers, this bad boy's gonna be waiting for y'all, right? So, all you gotta do is subscribe to be in, and then you'll be good. You'll be fantastic. You're looking at me funny.
No, it's like you get this bad boy. One, it was upside down, and 2.
It doesn't matter. No, it was fine. Just let me say goodbye. This is Mace Valor signing off.